The stars gleamed like distant jewels against the void as Captain Lee Jaimun stared through the viewscreen of the Earthfleet flagship Dauntless. Humanity had only reached beyond their solar system in the last 100 years. They had small colonies on Mars, Europa, and a few planets around nearby stars. "Captain, unknown ships coming from Sector 7, said Lieutenant Park Hyojin, her fingers moving quickly across her screen. The new ships looked strange, beautiful crystal structures that bent light around them. They belonged to the Talon Empire, rulers of almost half the galaxy for 3,000 years. Captain Lee ordered all crew to battle stations. This was humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization, and no one knew what to expect. The main Talon ship sent a message. Admiral Kong Do-hyun's face appeared on screen. He had pale blue skin, large eyes, and no hair. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Greetings, humans. The Talon Empire welcomes you to the galactic community." Behind closed doors, Admiral Kong told his second-in-command, "These humans are barely worth our time. But the Emperor wants us to study all thinking species." The Talons invited Earth leaders aboard their main ship. They offered gifts of basic technology and talked about peace. But Major Kim Minha, Earth's top intelligence officer, noticed something odd about their questions. "They keep asking about our defenses, our factories, our population numbers," she whispered to Captain Lee during a break. "This isn't friendship, it's research before an attack." Captain Lee nodded. "Keep watching them. Don't show that we suspect anything." The Talons stayed for a week, meeting with Earth leaders. They seemed polite but always looked at humans like they were simple children or animals in a zoo. "Your species is young," Admiral Kong told them. "But with our guidance, you might advance more quickly." What the Talons didn't say was that they planned to take Earth's resources and use humans as workers. They had done this to dozens of other species across the galaxy. Major Kim spent long nights studying the Talons. She noticed they always followed strict patterns. They never changed plans quickly. They believed their way was always best because it had worked for thousands of years. Their strength might also be their weakness, she told Captain Lee. They don't know how to adapt. 2 months after first contact, a human mining ship near Saturn sent an emergency message. A Talon patrol ship had fired on them without warning. "They claimed we crossed some boundary they never told us about," the mining captain reported. "We had to fire back with our mining lasers. Somehow we damaged their ship enough to escape." The Talons were shocked. No lesser species had beaten their ships in battle for thousands of years. The mining ship was small with just a few weapons for protection against space rocks. But the humans had used creative thinking, targeting weak spots that the Talons didn't know they had. On the Talon homeworld, Emperor Choi was furious when he heard the news. "These humans must be destroyed," he declared to his war council. "They show disrespect to our perfect empire. They represent disorder in our system." The Talon ships that had been friendly suddenly disappeared from Earth orbit without saying goodbye. Earth leaders tried to contact them but got no answer. Major Kim worked day and night preparing Earth's defenses. "They're coming back," she warned the United Earth Defense Council. "And next time, they won't pretend to be friends." Captain Lee was ordered to take the Dauntless to patrol the edge of the solar system. 3 days into his mission, the ship's sensors lit up. "Captain! Hundreds of ships just appeared!" Lieutenant Park shouted. "They're Talon warships." Captain Lee knew Earth wasn't ready for a full war. But he also knew humans had something the Talons didn't expect, the ability to change plans quickly, to think in new ways, to do the unexpected. "Send word to Earth," he ordered. "The Talons are coming. But tell them this, we've already shown we can hurt them. They think they know everything about war after 3,000 years. Let's show them they're wrong." As the Talon fleet approached, Earth prepared for the greatest challenge in human history. The galaxy's mightiest species was coming to conquer them, but they would soon learn that humans never surrender. The attack came without warning. 100 Talon warships appeared above Earth's colonies on Mars and Proxima Centauri b. Their crystal ships glowed with deadly energy as they prepared to fire. "Surrender now," Admiral Kong announced to the human colonies. "Your primitive weapons cannot harm our advanced ships. The Talon Empire has conquered 1,000 worlds. You will be next." The Talons expected immediate surrender. Instead, they got chaos. On Mars, colony leader Ryu Sunho gave unusual orders: target their ships with the mining lasers. Full power. The mining equipment wasn't designed for battle, but the powerful industrial lasers cut through the Talon ships' crystal hulls. The aliens hadn't protected against this kind of attack because no primitive species had ever tried it before. On Proxima Centauri B, Colony Director Bei Jion ordered all transport ships to fly directly at the Talon vessels. "Are you ordering suicide runs?" her assistant asked in shock. "No," she replied. "I'm ordering empty ships on automatic pilot. They'll think the ships are full of brave humans ready to die. They won't expect empty ships." The Talons, confused by this seemingly illogical tactic, wasted their weapons shooting down empty transports while the real human fighters attacked from another direction. Back on Earth, Major Kim Minha. Now Colonel Kim led a small team that captured a damaged Talon shuttle. She brought it to Earth's best scientists. "We need to understand their technology fast," she told them. The scientists worked day and night. Within a week, they had discovered how the Talon ships worked. Within 2 weeks, they had improved the designs. "The Talons haven't updated their technology in 500 years, explained scientist Song Hajin. "They thought it was perfect, so they stopped trying to make it better. We can make it better." Colonel Kim reported this to the United Earth Defense Council. "The Talons think in straight lines," she explained. 3,000 years without serious challenges has made them inflexible. That's our advantage." Meanwhile, Captain Lee Jaiwan had escaped the initial attack and taken the Dauntless deep into space. There, he found something unexpected: other alien species who hated the Talons. The Nari were small blue beings who lived mostly in water. Their planets had been conquered by the Talons 300 years ago. "We can help you fight them," said Nari leader Locke. "We know their supply routes, their communication methods, their weaknesses." With this new information, human ships began surprise attacks on Talon supply lines. They would appear, attack quickly, and disappear before the slow-moving Talon battle groups could respond. Colonel Kim developed a new tactic: hacking into Talon communication systems and sending false orders. The rigid Talon command structure meant that lower officers never questioned orders from above, even when those orders made no sense. 3 months into the war, humans destroyed a major Talon shipyard by turning its own defense systems against it. Admiral Kong was called before Emperor Choi to explain this failure. "How can these primitives defeat our perfect strategies?" the Emperor demanded, his face dark with anger. Admiral Kong bowed low. "They don't follow logical patterns, Your Greatness. They adapt, they improvise, they sometimes choose options that seem completely irrational but succeed through sheer unpredictability." "Then predict their unpredictability," shouted the Emperor. "That is, impossible by definition, Your Greatness," the Admiral replied carefully. The Emperor was not pleased. "Send half the Imperial fleet. Crush these humans before they spread their chaos to other parts of our empire." As more Talon ships gathered for a massive attack on Earth, Colonel Kim made an important discovery. She had captured and questioned several Talon officers and learned that they were telepathic with each other but could not read human minds. "They've never fought a species whose thoughts they couldn't sense," she told Captain Lee over a secure channel. "They don't know how to handle surprises." Captain Lee had returned to Earth with his new Nari allies and their valuable intelligence. Together with Colonel Kim, they developed a bold plan. "The Talons expect us to defend Earth with everything we have," Colonel Kim explained to the Defense Council. "So instead, we'll attack their homeworld while their fleet is here." It was a crazy plan, exactly the kind of thinking the Talons couldn't understand or predict. As the massive Talon fleet approached Earth, ready for their greatest victory, they had no idea that the real battle would happen elsewhere. The humans had learned that sometimes the best defense was a completely unexpected offense. And the Talons, for all their power and ancient knowledge, had never learned to expect the unexpected. 6 months into what people called the Liberation War, the mighty Talon Empire was confused. These humans should have been easy to defeat. Instead, the war was going badly for the Talons. Emperor Choi sent half his fleet to crush Earth once and for all. The huge armada of crystal ships filled the space around Earth's solar system. "Now we will end this annoying problem," Admiral Khan told his officers. No species has ever survived such a force. But humans did something the Talons never expected. They didn't follow any single battle plan. Each Earth nation contributed its own military thinking. Japanese spacefighters used hit-and-run attacks. Nigerian commanders set clever traps in asteroid fields. Brazilian engineers created new weapons by combining Earth and Talon technology. Colonel Kim Min-ha, now a general, stood in Earth's defense headquarters watching the battle displays. "The Talons fight as one mind with one plan," she told the world leaders gathered there. "That's both strong and weak. If we keep changing our tactics, they can't adjust fast enough." The human fleet seemed to fight in chaos, but there was method in the madness. Ships from different countries used different strategies, all working together in ways the Talons couldn't predict. While the main battle raged near Earth, General Kim prepared a secret mission. She picked a small team of the best soldiers, including Captain Han and Lieutenant Beck. Their goal: sneak behind enemy lines and reach the main Talon command base in the Orion sector. "We won't try to destroy it," she told her team as they prepared their small, fast ship. "We're going to plant false information." Their ship was specially designed to look like a Talon scout vessel. They slipped past the enemy fleet during the confusion of battle and jumped to faster-than-light speed toward Orion. 3 days later, they reached the massive Talon space station that controlled military operations for that sector of space. Using codes provided by their Nari allies, they entered the station pretending to be messenger crew from the Emperor himself. Lieutenant Beck, a computer expert, found an access point to the main Talon battle network. "We have 10 minutes before they detect us," she whispered to General Kim. General Kim uploaded the false information they had prepared. It showed faked research suggesting Earth had developed a terrible new weapon, a device that could make stars explode. The report said humans were preparing to use this weapon against the Talon homeworld sun. "Talons value information above all else," General Kim said as they hurried back to their ship. "Now let's see what they do with this information." The plan worked perfectly. Within days, the Talon fleet split its forces, sending many ships back to defend their homeworld against an attack that would never come. The human forces seized their chance. With the Talon fleet divided, Earth ships won victory after victory. They freed 3 star systems from Talon control in just 2 weeks. But General Kim's most powerful weapon wasn't military at all. Human hackers broke into the Talon communication network and broadcast real footage of Talon defeats across the Empire. Ordinary Talons had never seen their forces lose battles. They had been told for generations that their military was perfect and unbeatable. Now they saw the truth. "We were told humans were primitive savages," Talon citizens whispered to each other. "Yet they defeat our best commanders. Have we been lied to?" In the Grand Palace on the Talon homeworld, Emperor Choi raged at his advisors. "Stop these human broadcasts. They spread disorder and confusion." But it was too late. Questions were spreading. Some younger Talons even began to study human culture, fascinated by how such a primitive species could be so effective. The turning point of the war came when 3 Talon battle groups surrendered to human forces near the star Rigel. It was unheard of. Talons never surrendered. Their code demanded they fight to the death. General Kim personally went to accept their surrender. The Talon commander, a young officer named Su, surprised her. "Your species has shown us something we had forgotten," he said. "That adapting and changing can be a strength, not a weakness." Word of this surrender spread quickly throughout the Empire. More Talon ships began to question their orders. The perfect discipline that had made the Talon military so powerful for thousands of years was breaking down. On Earth, people began to hope for the first time that they might actually win this war against the galaxy's supposedly mightiest species. "We're not winning because we're stronger," General Kim told the Earth Council. We're winning because we're more flexible. And now some Talons are learning to be flexible too. That might be the greatest victory of all. As human forces pushed deeper into Talon space, something unexpected happened. The mighty Talon Empire began to fall apart from within. Reports came to General Kim Minha about riots on Talon worlds and military units refusing orders. "What's happening?" she asked Captain Lee Jaiwan during a strategy meeting aboard the flagship Dauntless. "I think they're experiencing something they've never felt before," Captain Lee said. Doubt. For 3,000 years, the Talons had believed they were perfect. Their society had no place for failure or questions. Children were taught that the Talon way was the only right way. Anyone who thought differently was seen as damaged or sick. General Kim decided to learn more. She interviewed Talon prisoners and discovered something important. Their society has no way to handle failure, she explained to Earth's leaders. When a Talon fails, they are removed from their position and never spoken of again. They're trapped by their own idea of perfection. This knowledge gave General Kim an idea. She sent a message to all Talon worlds with a surprising offer: peace. The terms included freedom for all planets in the Talon Empire and a complete end to fighting, but also allowed the Talons to keep their homeworld and core systems. The peace offer confused many Talons. In their history, winners destroyed losers completely. The idea of mercy was foreign to them. "Why would humans offer peace when they are winning?" asked Talon citizens. "What trick is this?" On 5 Talon colony worlds, the confusion led to action. Local leaders declared independence from the Empire. They had seen how humans governed themselves, with many voices helping make decisions instead of one all-powerful ruler. They wanted to try this new way. Emperor Choi was furious. "These rebels must be destroyed," he ordered Admiral Khan. "Send ships to crush them immediately." But Admiral Khan faced a problem. Many ship captains were refusing his orders. Some had even taken their crews and joined the human fleet. One defector, Professor Shin, explained his choice to General Kim. "For 3,000 years, we Talons haven't changed," he said. "We thought we were perfect. But humans showed us something we had forgotten: that change itself has value." Professor Shin revealed something terrible to General Kim. Emperor Choi had ordered his scientists to build a weapon that could destroy Earth's sun. The weapon would kill billions of humans at once. "Many Talons are horrified by this plan," Professor Shin said. "It breaks our oldest laws about honorable warfare." But the Emperor doesn't care anymore. He just wants to win at any cost. General Kim immediately sent this information to Earth. The Defense Council prepared an emergency plan to stop the Sunkiller weapon. Meanwhile, Captain Lee led a fleet to protect the rebel Talon worlds from the Emperor's forces. When they arrived, they found a strange sight: Talon fighting Talon. Civil war had broken out across the Empire. "We should help the rebels," suggested Lieutenant Park Hyojin. Captain Lee shook his head. "No. We'll protect them if attacked, but they need to solve their own problems. This is their chance to grow." Back on Earth, scientists worked with friendly Talons to develop defenses against the Sunkiller weapon. They discovered that the weapon had a critical flaw: it needed 3 hours to charge before firing. If they could find it in time, they could destroy it. General Kim led the mission herself. With a small fleet of fast ships, she followed the information from Professor Shin to a hidden Talon base between the stars. "There it is," she said as they approached. The weapon was huge, bigger than any ship they had ever seen. But just as they prepared to attack, another fleet appeared. It was Admiral Khan with 20 Talon warships. "This is the end, human," he sent over the communication channel. "You cannot defeat all of us." General Kim prepared for a difficult battle. Then something amazing happened. Half of Admiral Kang's ships turned their weapons on the other half. "We will not allow this dishonorable weapon to be used," announced Commander Yoon, leader of the rebel Talons. "This ends now." In the confusion, General Kim's forces destroyed the Sunkiller weapon. Admiral Kang's flagship was badly damaged in the battle, and the Admiral himself was captured. As they brought him aboard the human ship, Admiral Kong looked confused. "Why do your own people turn against you?" General Kim asked him. "They have been infected by human ideas," he said bitterly. "Ideas about change and choice and questioning orders." General Kim smiled. "Those aren't human ideas, Admiral. They're just ideas. Maybe they're what all thinking beings discover eventually." The battle marked the beginning of the end for Emperor Choi's rule. The Talon Empire had been defeated not just by human weapons, but by human ideas. The final battle took place in orbit around the Talon homeworld. Below, the magnificent crystal spires of their cities caught the light of their blue sun. Above, the combined fleet of humans and allied species faced the last loyal Talon ships. General Kim Minha stood on the bridge of her flagship, looking at the beautiful planet. "Open a channel to the Imperial Palace," she ordered. The face of Emperor Choi appeared on screen. He looked tired, his blue skin pale and his eyes dull. "Have you come to destroy us?" he asked. "No," General Kim replied. "We've come to offer peace one last time. War was your choice, not ours." The Emperor laughed bitterly. "You would show mercy even now? Weakness. Strength comes in many forms," General Kim said. "The ability to forgive is one of them." As they spoke, something unexpected was happening inside the Imperial Palace. Young Talons who had studied human culture in secret were moving through the halls. They carried no weapons, only ideas. Counselor Jun, a young Talon scientist, led them into the throne room where Emperor Choi was speaking with General Kim. "Your rule ends today," Counselor Jun announced. 3,000 years of standing still. 3,000 years of calling ourselves perfect while refusing to grow. It ends now. Guards moved to stop them, but more and more Talons joined the rebels. They had seen how human society worked, with many voices, many ideas, many ways of solving problems. They wanted that for themselves. Emperor Choi fled to a hidden chamber and activated emergency defenses. He ordered all remaining ships to attack the human fleet. "If I cannot rule," he shouted into the communication system, "then let everything burn." But the ship captains had also been watching and learning. Only 3 ships followed his orders. The rest stayed still. The battle was brief. The loyal ships fought hard but were quickly disabled by the combined fleet. General Kim ordered her forces not to destroy them if possible. "These are the last believers in a dying idea," she told her crew. "Let's show them a better way." Inside the palace, Counselor Jun and his followers cornered Emperor Choi in his secret room. "You have led us to disaster," Counselor Jun said. "You refuse to see that change is not weakness but strength." Emperor Choi was arrested and would later face trial for his crimes against many species. Counselor Jun became the leader of the new Talon Republic. 1 month later, representatives from 50 species gathered on neutral ground, a beautiful uninhabited planet with 3 moons. They came to create something new, the Galactic Cooperative. General Kim, now Ambassador Kim, represented Earth. Captain Lee, now Admiral Lee, brought the human fleet. Counselor Jun brought the reformed Talon government. The Nari sent their leader Locke. Many other species came too, some that had been enslaved by the Talons for centuries. "We will not repeat the mistakes of the past," Counselor Jun announced. "The new Talon Republic wishes to join as equals, not rulers." The Galactic Cooperative was born that day. Each species had 1 vote, regardless of their technology level or how many planets they controlled. Earth did not try to take the Talons' place as rulers but insisted on equality for all. The irony, Ambassador Kim wrote in her personal journal, is that the Talons were right about being the galaxy's mightiest species until they met us. Not because humans are stronger or smarter, but because we never stopped evolving, questioning, and changing. That is humanity's true strength. Admiral Lee led the first cooperative exploration mission to the galactic core. They found many new species there, some who had been hiding from the Talons for thousands of years. "The galaxy is bigger and more diverse than we ever imagined," he reported back. "And now it's open to all of us. On the Talon homeworld, schools changed their teaching. Young Talons learned about different ways of thinking, different approaches to problems. They studied human history with special interest, how a species so young could adapt so quickly. Professor Shin, once a defector and now a respected teacher, told his students, "We thought we were perfect, so we stopped growing." Humans never thought they were perfect, so they never stopped growing. That is the lesson we must remember. Throughout the galaxy, a new saying spread among all species: as adaptable as a human. It was the highest compliment anyone could receive. The mighty Talon Empire was now history. In its place was something better, a galaxy of equals, learning from each other, growing together. And humanity, the young species that had caused this great change, was just getting started.